I went live before I was ready to. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Good evening. I went live before I was ready to. So sometimes you hit that button and you didn't mean to. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It's completely not ready to go live. Okay, I don't know what's going on TikTok. I have a blank screen. I have a black screen. Why do I have a black screen? Oh, is my camera facing the wrong way? Oh my gosh, where's the camera button? Y'all, I'm really sorry. I went live too early. I hit a button and now need to figure out how to turn my camera around. This has never happened before. Okay. Let's see. Mirror your video. I don't even know what that is. If that's a button or not. So unfortunately, y'all are going to have to listen to me talk until I figure out what in the world I'm doing on TikTok, why I'm not being shown. I can only think that it's because my camera, and sure enough, my camera is facing the wrong way. Okay, so I have to figure out how to move my camera. So sorry, y'all that are like, what's going on? Why can't I see you? Because it's facing the wrong way. Flip camera. Hey, found the button, found the button. Sorry, that has never happened before, ever, on any live. And I've been doing lives for like 10 years. I've never had that happen before. And now the phone does not want to fit back into the holder. Here we go. Just having all kinds of technical problems. But you know what? That's life. Have y'all ever had... Have you all ever had, and I'm sure you have because you've been alive, right? You've had life issues, right? So kind of like I'm having right now, like one, this is not standing straight on here, on this. It's not, okay. There we go. Okay. I think I finally have it all together. Although I don't like the angle of this particular, I think it's YouTube. I'm sorry. Y'all, life has been lifing. So if you look for me at my regular time, which is around 9:30, 9:45, I go live on TikTok, Insta, and YouTube every night. I have been missing for a little bit, right? And I've been missing because had a I don't want to say what happened because there are people out there where when you announce what happened in your life, they will actually pray against you or the situation. So I'm not going to announce what happened. But anyway, something really big happened and it's requiring my daily attention. And it also requires me to travel. And so I just haven't been able to go on every night because by the time I get done traveling and handling what I'm handling right now, I'm exhausted and I don't have anything good for you. And I don't really like coming on when I don't have anything good. And I have to admit that the past week it's been really challenging because it takes a lot of preparation to do a live that makes sense and that's prepared and well thought out and all of that. And I just really haven't had the personal time to attend to it. So I did want to come on tonight because I didn't want too many nights to go by because remember, my topics are always about being successful, right? And so one of the keys to success is being consistent. Without consistency, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how motivated you are, how much, what your idea is or anything else. If you aren't consistent, people are going to lose interest, they're not going to care, and they're not going to trust you. So I didn't want to go too many days without doing a live. I have a severe, just as an aside, I have a severe thunderstorm warning going on. Like it's saying really big, like they called me and said, severe thunderstorm, take cover. So if I lose y'all, it's because of that storm. Okay, I don't want you to think like, wow, she was here and then we lost her and she never came back. It would be because of the storm. All right. So, like I said, it's been rough. My mind has been focused on other things, and it's good because that's literally life. In the on the path to being successful, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have setbacks, you're going to have pain, you're going to have disaster, you're going to have all these things on your road to success. All these things, different things are going to happen to you. And what you have to do is you have to persevere. Like that's the difference with successful people, non-successful people. Non-successful people, something really big happens in their life and they use it as an excuse to stop. Successful people are like, yeah, that was horrible. I had to take I had to take a minute and deal with it, but I'm going to keep on going because in life, and I don't know if y'all, I'm dating myself, have watched the movie Crimson Tide. I think it's an excellent movie. Has Gene Hackman, who just passed away, in it. But anyway, there is, and it has Denzel Washington. Who doesn't love Denzel, right? So there's this part in the movie Crimson Tide where Denzel and Gene Hackman, those are the two main characters, they have different styles of doing stuff, right? And there's this scene where there's all this chaos going on, and Gene Hackman orders a drill. And Denzel Washington gets upset because he says, why are you ordering a drill in the middle of all this chaos? There's a fire going on in the galley, everything's this, that, and whatever. Why are you ordering a drill? I would have waited until the chaos was over and then I would have ordered the drill. And so Gene Hackman says to him, because he's the older, wiser commander, and Gene Hackman says to him, I ordered the drill because life is chaos, because there's always chaos, because there's always something going on. If you're waiting for the perfect time to do something, it's never going to arrive. And I thought that was a great example of being successful and of life in general, right? Like a lot of people never get started on whatever it is they want to do because they're like, the time isn't right. I have to wait till the baby gets out of preschool, or I have to wait till my husband gets a better job, or I have to wait till we move to that new city, or I have to wait till I get this new car, or I have to wait and see if I get my promotion. Like there are a million things that you could have to wait for. Like there literally usually is not a perfect time to do anything in life. So, what you have to learn how to do, and being successful, you have to learn how to navigate setbacks and things that come up. You just have to learn how to do it. Do it in the middle of the chaos. It does not have to be perfect. Really important. I used to be that person. I say this from personal experience. I used to be that person. I was waiting for this specified time, right? I have 5 kids. There was never going to be a good time for me to do anything. And it took me years to realize that. Like, it's not going to happen, Tish. You've got 5 kids. You got to raise them till they're 18. The time is not going to be perfect, right? And on top of that, I wanted things to be perfect. Not only the time to be perfect, but I wanted to be perfect. Like I wanted to have all the knowledge. I wanted to have all the experiences. I wanted to have all the answers. And that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous because for the majority of us, you are becoming a subject matter expert as you go along. As you go along through your experiences, you take what you have and you start. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to look perfect. You don't have to sound perfect. You don't have to be 100% confident. You just have to start. And things will get better as you go along, and you will attract your people to you as you go along. But a lot of people are scared because, and I get it, like I get all of this. I get it because it was me. You're scared because you see all these people out there doing whatever it is that you want to do, right? And they seem so confident and the storm is hitting. They, okay. All right. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. They seem so confident, they seem so together, they seem so professional, and you're like, how can I possibly go on to social media and compete with these people who are so this or that? Like they may look great, or they may have perfect teeth, or they may, have perfect makeup, or yes, I am doing a live right now and I can't answer you. Yeah. Um or, they may have the clothes that you want that you don't have. Or they may have a beautiful house and you're living in a one bedroom apartment still. Like there could be all these factors. Okay, my beloved daughter is asking me to sign a piece of paper for her for school. But there could be all of these factors that these people have that make you feel intimidated or less than, right? Like that happens all the time. I'll look at, I look at certain people and I'm like, wow, she really has it all together, right? And here's me. But it doesn't matter. Thank you. It doesn't matter what other people have. And let me tell you, comparison is the thief of joy. If you sit around and compare yourself to other people, you are never going to get started. You're never going to be motivated. You're always going to be in fear. You're never going to feel confident. But let me tell you, like, this is one thing I learned, and TikTok taught me this, believe it or not. I went on TikTok one day, right? And I looked, and literally, because I was thinking to myself, man, my people aren't out there. Nobody's going to want to listen to me. Nobody's going to like me, whatever, whatever, right? I'm not this, that, and whatever, right? Oh, okay. There's a family, like here in the middle of my live is a family group chat message. Okay. So, I went on TikTok and I was scrolling and I came across the lives, right? And there was literally a girl. I kid you not. I can't make this up. There was literally a girl doing a live, and she had been on because it showed the amount of time she'd been on. She'd been on for hours, and she was literally sitting in her bedroom. And dear, this is very distracting. She's sitting in her bedroom. Her bedroom is not nicely decorated. It's not like, aesthetic or whatever. She's dressed in a t-shirt and some shorts. Okay. And she is not, she's dressed in a t-shirt and some shorts. She is not the most beautiful girl in the world. I'm not ever going to call anybody ugly. She's not the most beautiful girl in the world. In other words, there's nothing special. It's like literally you're looking at somebody sitting in their bedroom. She's watching TV and eating and farting. Like, I kid you not. She had like 1 million followers. She had, I don't know how many badges, stars, whatever they give on TikTok. Like, people were engaged watching her watch TV, farting and eating. And that's when the day I said to myself, Tish, you can do this. You can do it. And it proved to me the fact that everybody has people out there. Everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how weird you are, how nasty you are. I'm not going to say nasty because I don't feel like you should be nasty. But my point being is no matter who you are, you have people out there that are waiting for whatever message it is that you have to give or to show that. I've seen people on TikTok lives who play instruments and they must be beginners because they sound horrible. And that's fine. I played the violin for since I was 8 years old and I'm 51. Okay, so let me tell you, I'm not saying that to disparage them. There's nothing wrong with sounding horrible on an instrument because it takes many years to master an instrument, many years. But anyway, my point being is they had not mastered the instrument and they're on live sounding all like that. And there's like hundreds of people watching them. So I kid you not when I say it doesn't matter who you are, what you have to offer, get out there and just do it. Like, if you're learning how to do something, take, buy a GoPro and take everybody on the journey with you. Like if you're learning how to rollerblade or something, take them with you and let them watch you fall and get back up. And you know what? In a couple years, you'll be like a rollerblading pro. But there are people who want to watch you on that journey. If you're a writer, if you can't, like, you want to be a writer, but let's say your writing sucks, like, you can tell people your ideas and go back and forth with them and read them little excerpts of whatever it is that you're writing. And there are people out there who will want to hear it, even if it's not that great. Like, I kid you not, there are people, everybody has people out there. I promise you. You have a following that you don't know about out there. They're there. I promise you, they're there. So anyway, I just say that in encouragement to anybody who may be feeling like, nobody cares about me or what interests me. Yes, they do. Like, I follow this woman on Instagram and she does these little frog. This is gonna sound crazy. But anyway, she has these little frogs that I think she crochets and then she animates them. And so everything is miniature and these little tiny, it's like a little frog family. And they wear these fancy clothes and they live in the country, and it shows she has them in the country, and then they're cooking, and then they're dusting their little frog house and all this other stuff, but they're made of crochet, but she animates them somehow. I don't know how she does it. But anyway, I could just spend hours watching that. It's weird. It's very random, but I love watching it. It calms me down. So, like, your people are out there. Get out there and do it no matter what it is. Don't be discouraged. Don't say nobody's going to care. Nobody likes me. Whatever. It doesn't matter what your face looks like, what your teeth look like, if your hair isn't done yet. Girl, if you, or boy, if you can't afford to have the full package to present to the world right now, that's okay. Or if you don't want to present this full package, if you just want to be all natural, you just want to present yourself as you, your people are out there. Go find them. So today we're going to talk briefly about time and longevity. So longevity means staying power, lasting power. Okay? So that's what longevity is. And time. So I'm a big believer in there's timing to everything. Everything has a time. Now, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to say God's timing is perfect. But I do believe everything has a time. There are things that I attempted to do years ago, and I had people wanting to help me. I had a whole cheering crowd behind me at the time. And I wasn't mature enough to do it. Like, I wasn't mature enough to understand the principles of success. I wasn't, like, my hair is all over the place. Sorry. I wasn't mature enough to understand the principles of success. I wasn't mature enough to be consistent. I wasn't mature enough to see, wow, people are offering me amazing opportunities and I need to be grateful, thankful, and, take these opportunities. So it doesn't matter what is going on if you're not ready. If the timing is off, you have to have an understanding of timing and be honest with where you are. You may want to be, and I've said this before, it's one of my favorite examples, you may want to be a rock star, but it just may not be the time for you to be a rock star. That doesn't mean that you won't be a rock star one day. So I want to make that really, really clear. Timing. Just because possibly the timing is not right at the moment for you to do what it is that you want to do, that does not mean that you won't be super successful in that thing when the timing is right. I have been doing lives for approximately 10 years. Okay? Somewhere around there, I've been doing lives. I am not new to this at all whatsoever. I was monetized on Facebook when they first started monetization. When the whole program started up, I was monetized. I was super red hot, and I was making money. I was doing the thing, I was super. But what happened? I had a month where they didn't want to pay me. I got super mad. I was like, oh, I'm gonna show them, and I pulled all my videos. Who did that hurt? That hurt me. I quit. I was a quitter. I got mad at the situation, at the circumstances. Instead of writing it out or waiting for things to get better or keeping my stuff up there and accruing money, I quit. The timing wasn't right. My mindset wasn't right. Here I am, one of the first creators in the creator bonus program on Facebook, and I quit. I have red hot videos. I had a huge following because I do counseling. I'm not a certified counselor, by the way. Okay, coaching. I'm sorry, it's not counseling. Skip that you heard that word. It's coaching. Okay. I do coaching for marriage and family and relationships because I have been married for 18 years and together with my husband for 20 plus. And we have 5 children, and I've homeschooled and I've taught parenting classes for the state of California. So I ran a very successful childcare facility and the YMCA's childcare program. So that's very much my forte. I know a lot about that. I'm very comfortable talking about that. And so that's what my videos were on. It was like my knowledge, experiences, opinion, and all of that. So super popular. I pulled everything. I pulled like, I don't 300 videos. And and I just quit. I just quit. And that's not what successful people do. Successful people do not quit. When a roadblock comes up, successful people say, hey, I'm going to call it what it is. It's a roadblock. It's a trial. It's a challenge. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to figure it out. But what I'm not going to do is be a quitter. So what I'm trying to say in sharing that with you on how I quit, I'm trying to say that the timing was not right. I was not mature enough. My mindset obviously was not correct. And so I missed a huge blessing. I don't know how long that I missed being monetized. And so now I'm to the point where I'm monetized again. But point being is, yes, I had to work back to where I already was, which is so incredibly stupid. That I was there. I took myself, okay? Nobody came after me. Nobody came for me. I came for myself. I took myself off of that and then I went backwards. Okay. So do you understand kind of what I'm trying to say to you? Timing is everything. And sometimes you are not ready for what it is that you want to do. Sometimes you have to be in the processing stage, in the stage where you are being prepared for that thing. I didn't just jump on a month ago onto live and like, hey, it's me, Tish. No, I've been doing lives for 10 years approximately, or whenever lives started. I started doing lives, which was so many years ago, I don't even remember. So, yeah, I'm comfortable in front of the camera and I'm comfortable talking, and I don't necessarily need notes because I've been doing it for so many years. So, but if I didn't tell you that, maybe you would not know that. And so some people who have watched me have messaged me and said, oh, wow, you seem so comfortable in front of the camera and you can just speak. And when I speak, it sounds all choppy. And yeah, don't hold yourself to where I am. Not saying that I'm great or anything special, but just saying that I'm comfortable doing it because I've been doing it for 10 years. So, yeah, of course I'm comfortable. If you're just starting something, no, there's going to be a period of where you have to get comfortable with people watching you, comfortable with people writing down comments, comfortable with staring into a camera at yourself. There has to be a level of comfort, number one, with yourself before you sit in front of a camera and do something. Because especially if you're not dancing, it's a lot easier when you're dancing because you're up, you're moving, you're focused on what you're doing. But when you're just sitting and talking to people in front of a camera, you got to be comfortable with yourself because you're staring at yourself and you can get sidetracked at like, oh my gosh, why does my face look like that? Oh, I'm not moisturized. Oh, whatever. You have to be comfortable, but it takes practice. That's the point. Everything takes practice, and there is a time for everything. So sometimes things aren't going to work out because you just aren't ready. You just aren't ready, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because there does take, before you take a step and before you're successful, you have to have it up here in your mind. You have to see it, you have to want it, you have to taste it, you have to practice it, you have to rehearse it, you have to see what it is that you want, how you're going to deliver it, or how you're going to play the instrument, or how you're going to write the book. You have to have it all mapped out up here before you even take the first step. You have to have written down your goals. You have to have figured out what your benchmarks are going to be every 3 months. What should I have accomplished in the first 3 months? What am I looking for in the next 3 months? How long is it going to take me to accomplish this goal? How much money is it that I want to make from doing this thing that I love? It should be something that you love, because it's going to be really hard. And you're not going to do something that's really hard unless it's something that you love, because you're not going to be able to be consistent. If I were talking about money, if I was up here talking about finances, right? And I do know quite a bit about finances, but I hate math. So if I was talking about finances, I wouldn't bother coming and showing up every day, because I'd be talking about something I don't like. Okay, does that make sense? So make sure whatever it is that you want to pursue, it's something that you really love. Because if it's something that you love, it's not going to be difficult for you to do it, if that makes sense. So, like coming on live, sometimes it's difficult for me to do because I might be tired. I had a long day. I'm mentally exhausted, but it's nothing that's hard in the sense that I love doing it. I love talking to y'all. So, timing. Is your timing right? Is it the right time for you to do whatever? But now you're saying, Tish, you just told us there's no such thing as the right time. That is true. There isn't necessarily a thing such as the right time, but there are better times than others. If you are going through a divorce, now might not be the best time for you to start a new business, okay? If you just had a brand new baby, now might not be the best time, unless you want to go into showing, here's the process of having the baby and nursing the baby, and here are the baby products, and that it's the best time for you to go into whatever it is you want to do. But, if maybe you just moved, maybe it's not the best time, you need to get settled. But then again, maybe it is a good time because you just moved into a new environment and you can document online with people the whole process. This was really hard. People make it look like it's easy to move. It really isn't. I think there's a lot of people who are interested in seeing what things are really like, not what, influencers who try and make everything look beautiful and pretty, and we all enjoy that, right? We all enjoy looking at somebody's perfect house that's perfectly dusted and cleaned and organized, and it's very relaxing, right? There's nothing wrong with that content. But then there's a lot of people who are depressed and overwhelmed, and they think they have the ugliest house in the world. And if you go on and show them your content and say, look, my house is a mess. I've got clothes on the couch. I've got a baby crying over there in a high chair. That makes them feel wonderful, because it lets them know, hey, she's struggling just like me. She's not perfect. There's a lot of room for content like that. There's a lot of room for people to see what your life is really like. Not what the perfect life is like, not what the perfect. Do you see me here on live right now? Do you see me? My hair, honey, is a mess. My hair is a mess. I have on my husband's Real Niggas Golf. that's what it stands for. It's a big brand. I've got on his, fedora here. I, I'm a mess. I spent the whole evening watching my son play 7-on-7 football. Uh, I don't have it together. I don't have it together. Then I had to go to Walmart and get a nightlight, and then I had to come up with dinner that I hadn't cooked earlier. And my that's real life, right? Like, people want to know that. People want to see that. People want to see people who they can identify with, because the majority of people do not have it all together. And that's a really big point. The majority of people do not have it all together. I'm so sorry that you have a Facebook feed or whatever, or an Insta feed, and everybody on your feed looks perfect, looks like $1,000,000. That's because they have a stylist for their clothing and a stylist for their hair, and their teeth are perfectly capped and all this other stuff. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, once again. But please understand that the majority of people, that is not their life. Like I said the other day, do you know how many influencers take whatever room that they're filming in and they throw everything in that room into another room and then they film, and that's why their house looks perfect. It's because they took all the junk and threw it in another room. And then remember, I also told you, do you know how many influencers rent Airbnb homes and they go there and they film for 2 weeks at a time and they film like 3 months worth of content? And so what does it look like? It looks like they live in that type of house when they really live in a 1 bedroom apartment. Okay, so please understand that a lot of people that are out here flossing and representing themselves a certain way, that's not at all their real story. I saw a great article. I can't remember where it was, but anyway, it was a great article, and it was a vlog, and it was a super popular influencer, and she said, I'm going to show you my tricks. And child, do you know that she was making it look like she was in the middle of this fabulous pool? One of them, I remember one of the pictures. And what it was she had her friend take a picture of her in the middle of a blow up kiddie pool, but she was in the middle of this blow up kiddie pool, which made it look like there was blue, and the kiddie pool was blue. So it made the water look blue, and it made her look like she was in the middle of a huge pool, but she was really in a blow up kiddie pool in somebody's backyard that had palm trees, making it look like, and she was like, Aruba is wonderful, and she had a drink in her hand. Okay, like she showed all these tricks of how, with no budget at all, and the right camera angles, you can make it look like you're here, there, or wherever. Now, I wouldn't do that because I don't like to misrepresent, but I was floored. I was like, that's crazy. Like, I would never have known. So please just know that all the people out here who look like they have it all together, who look like they've got the monies, who look like, whatever, many of them are not what they look like or how they seem. Or do you know how many influencers with their kids and their husband live in their parents' house? Why is the house fabulous? Why are you seeing a $2 million house with all the amenities and pullouts and everything? Because it's their mama and daddy's house. It's not their house. But they have mom and dad go out to eat. They pay them to go out to eat. And then they film content in their house. And it makes it look like they pay the mortgage there when there's no way on earth they could pay the mortgage on a $2 million home. Sometimes we have to use common sense. If somebody's in their 20s and they're living in a $2 million home, you have to ask yourself, how is this possible? Because that isn't the norm. Okay. So I'm saying all this to say, don't feel discouraged. Don't feel discouraged. Like, whatever it is, wherever you are in life, it's where you need to be. You need to go through the things, the timing. You need to go through the things that you're going through right now so that you can get over here. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. Nothing happens overnight. Like, I'm at the point now where people are finally starting to recognize me, reach out to me, want to collab with me, blah, blah, blah. That took like 10 years, okay? It was not overnight. My mindset had to change. My consistency had to change. My goals had to change. I needed more discipline, okay? I needed more focus. So that brings me to longevity, and then I'm out. Okay, so longevity being long term, right? Something that has staying power. So, longevity. How do you achieve longevity? So, the goal needs to be, whenever you're doing something, the goal should be not, am I just doing this for today? Like, there was a period in my life where everything I did was just to get through today. Like, that was my goal. I just am trying to make it. There were times when I was overwhelmed as a mama of 5 children, 2 special needs children, and the goal was just to get through today. Let me just make it through today. Let me just make it through today, right? And I didn't have longer term goals necessarily in mind. It was just, let me get the meals done. Let me get the baths done. Let me get the playtime done. Let me get the naps done, whatever. And so I didn't make a lot of progress. Now, I did have very specific goals for my children with special needs, very specific on top of them. And I'm thankful to say I achieved all of them. But when it came to just life in general, for quite a while, I didn't have very specific goals. It was just, I'm trying to be a wife, I'm trying to be a mom, I'm trying to homeschool, I'm trying to raise my kids. Now, when it came to my childcare facility, I had, once again, very specified goals. But for myself, in other words, I did not have a long term plan. And if you want to be successful, and that's fine if you don't have one, but if you want to be successful, I promise you, you have to have a long term plan. You can't just fall into, people don't just fall into success. Okay. It's something that's carefully crafted. If you listen to some of these very high top influencers speak, one thing that they will tell you is that their content is very, very specific, very much made with intent. And a lot of times they'll make it with intent to look like it doesn't have intent, or just to seem like it's funny, or just to seem like whatever. But they did that on purpose. So that means they had a goal. They had a goal to keep their followers, how to get followers, right? How to bring followers to them, and then how to keep those followers there. That's longevity. So, longevity is not just becoming an overnight internet sensation, right? Not just getting 100,000 followers on TikTok, right? But how are you going to keep them? Once you have the followers, what are you going to do to keep them? A lot of people mess up and lose whatever it is that they gain because they didn't make a plan. They failed to plan, so they plan to fail. How are you going to keep what it is that you get? Let's say you have a business. Oh my gosh, you made $10,000 this month. I heard a sound. Congratulations. Are you going to make $10,000 next month? Are you going to make $10,000 the month after that? And if you plan to, what is your plan? Or was it just a one-time deal? Was it just a one-time deal? What is your plan to keep what it is that you have? If you buy a house, congratulations, you got approved for a home loan. Great. But what have I said before in my lives? Lots of people have gotten approved for a home loan. But then they didn't have a backup plan for, what if I lose my job? How am I going to pay the mortgage? They didn't have a backup plan for, I moved into a 3,000 square foot house. How am I going to afford the light bill on a 3,000 square foot house? How am I going to afford the water bill when I have 4 kids? They're constantly running water to wash clothes, to take showers, to do the dishwasher. Like when you first move from a apartment to a house, and it's like different, different size space, and different bills that you didn't maybe necessarily have before. A lot of people don't plan for that. Like they did not anticipate that. And then things start to go wrong because when you move into a house, now you need to landscape it. You need to pay home insurance, you need to pay property taxes. There's all these things that go along with being a homeowner on top of what you normally already have, which is, buying your kids clothes, buying groceries, paying the light bill. So you have to plan. What is the plan for longevity? If you buy a house and you don't have a plan, I promise you, you'll be giving up that house very soon because you have to have a plan. People buy Mercedes Benzes. Oh, I'm flossing. I got my Benz, right? What they planned to fail for, what they failed to plan for, was the fact that that Mercedes is German engineering, honey, and it's going to be in that shop more than in your driveway. And you better have the money for it because everything is $2,000 to fix on the car. So, do you have the money to keep the car, or is it going to sit in your driveway because every time it needs to be fixed, something needs to be tuned on it or adjusted on it? You don't have the money for those tune-ups, adjustments, and oil changes and everything else. You don't have the money. You just had the money to buy the car, but you don't have the money for the longevity, the life of the car, to keep the car. Okay, so does that make sense? Like, you have to have a plan if you want to stay in the game. Content creator, got great content, got those 10,000 followers, bam, bam, bam. What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? How are you going to keep the 10,000 followers? What's your content going to be? A lot of people who have gotten big following groups, a lot of followers, people that follow them, their content starts to fall off. Or they only post now, like before, they were hungry, man, right? They wanted those 10,000 followers. They were posting once a day, right? Maybe 2 times a day, morning and evening, right? They get the followers. Now you get content once a week because they got the followers. They don't care anymore. They're getting paid, they're getting monetized. Things are great. They're no longer hungry, right? They don't have to worry about how we go forward, formula for the baby. And so now they've fallen off. And so this happens in all areas and all aspects. Think about somebody that you really liked, or a show that you really liked, or whatever, and then it got to be super popular, and then it became whack, and you were like, oh, that sucks, you know? Or like, I have to watch this person's content prior to 2024 because that's when it was really good. It hasn't been good since 2024. So I just want you to think, in summation, I want you to think about what it is that you want, the timing for what it is that you want. It could be bad timing, but it could be good timing because it could be something that you're struggling with. Even if, let's say, you're depressed, get on and talk about depression. Get on social media and talk about depression. Talk about being depressed. And I promise you, you're going to find your people out there and they're going to help get you out of your depression. Okay? Whatever it is that you're going through, man, I'm telling you, whatever it is that you're going through, talk about it to social media. And your people will find you, and it'll be a great thing. You can talk about what you love, and you can also make some money at the same time. It will be a good thing. Or maybe the timing really isn't actually right now, and you need to wait. And in waiting, the time is going to become right. And then when you hit, you're going to take off. Okay. So I don't know what the answer is for you personally. Only you know that, because I don't know your personal situation. But whatever it is, before you start doing it, make a plan. You may get on social media and maybe you're like an overnight sensation. It's only been like maybe a month, and man, you just took off. People just loved you, right? Oh, now you've got all this fame. You weren't expecting anybody to even like you. You were expecting to have 2 people watching your live, right? And now you have thousands of people watching your live, okay? And now you're like, I don't know what to do. I didn't have a plan. Like, I really, was just kind of up here winging it. And because you didn't have a plan, you're going to lose all of the followers that you gained unexpectedly. So before you do, plan, right? Before you do, it's just like going on a camping trip, right? You do not go on a camping trip and you don't plan, because I've done that before. I've gone camping before and I did not plan. And it was horrible and I was miserable. And it could have been like the best thing ever. But I didn't do my research. I didn't plan. I didn't find out about the weather. I didn't find out about the terrain that I was going to. I didn't find out about, oh no, I didn't bring a bathing suit and there's a natural creek that everybody's swimming in, whatever. I did not plan the first couple times I went camping. And by camping enough, then I learned, oh, I need this, I need this, I need that. I need this to be comfortable. I want to bring this. I need that. Yeah. Now I don't really camp anymore. But by the time I finished, I had it down to a science, right? Because trial and error and doing something repeatedly, right? I became better. So, yeah, that's what I have for y'all. Timing, which is so important. Timing is so important. Like, the pandemic was the perfect time. Timing for people who started on social media during the pandemic, that was brilliant. I was not one of those brilliant people, but that was brilliant. I I shouldn't say start, I was already on, but like I didn't see the opportunity. Like I didn't have the vision. You need to have vision as well, right? Vision. You need to have vision. I didn't have vision. I didn't understand that everybody is trapped because I'm in Texas and Texans don't listen to anybody. So in Texas, child, we was outside. I was at the beach, in the ocean. I was on dolphin watching trips. I was outside during the pandemic because I live in Texas and you can't force Texans without the National Guard to do anything because if you tell a Texan to do something, they do exactly the opposite. So I was outside. So I didn't understand what the pandemic really was and that in every other state people were actually locked up in their houses and not going out. Man, we was at Walmart, we was sneezing all over each other and everything. I didn't have the vision. Had I had the vision, had I had the vision, I would have said, wow, everybody except us in Texas is locked up in their house. This is the perfect time to establish an audience because they're captive. They can't go anywhere. They have nothing to do but watch me, or sell something to them or whatever, right? So many people became big during the pandemic because people were at home and they wanted to feel a connection to other people. And so it was the perfect time to have engagement with other people. So you have to have a vision. You have to be prepared when when the time arises where you have an opportunity, maybe that you didn't anticipate. But you have to be able to say, man, you know what? I'm not ready to launch this now, but this is an idea that I have going. I'm gonna flesh out that idea. And if the time arises, then I'm gonna be ready to boom, right? A lot of people miss amazing opportunities, definitely including myself, because they are not ready when the time is right. When somebody provides them with an opportunity, when somebody opens the door, when somebody says, let's collab, when somebody says whatever, they're not ready. They're just not ready. The mindset isn't there. So I would encourage you, start. If you haven't started yet, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Time is going to pass anyway, right? You might as well be working towards your goal. Think about what you really, really want to do, not what you need. You think you need permission from your husband or your mother or your father or your friends to do. What is it that you really, really want to do? I want you to think about that. That's homework. Think about what it is that you really, really want to do in life. Like, thank you for watching so much. See you tomorrow.